So here we have a 3-pound package of bees. If you order a package of bees, this is what they're going to come and look like. Inside this package, there is a can with sugar water in it for a food source for these bees. And there is a queen that is supposed to be sealed in a box with candy so that the bees get used to her pheromones and they slowly work on eating that little candy out of that package and remove the queen from the queen cage. So we are going to be installing this package of bees into this hive right here today. Before I start the install, I wanted to make sure that I have sugar water already on here and available for the bees, and I have my entrance reducer turned and closed completely off. Now, most of the time an entrance reducer will come the entire length of the front of the hive, so I always have extra on hand that I've cut to length just for the purpose of having a hive feeder on the front of this, so I can still have that feeder in place and I can have this entrance reducer in place and completely close off that entrance if I need to. So on this hive that I'll be installing the bees in, I'm going to take off the outer cover and the inner cover. And this top box is actually empty. The bottom box is 10 frames of plasticell foundation. All of these frames have plasticell foundation in them. None of them have any drawn honeycomb. We're working under the assumption that you are a first-time beekeeper. You don't have the resources of pre-drawn comb. So we have a brand new hive setup here just for the purpose of this video. And then we're going to keep that empty box on top. Something I like to do when I am installing a package is actually mist the bees with sugar water. Quite a heavy mist. That sugar water is going to help calm the bees down. They're going to actually stop being so aggressive, they're going to stop flying around, and they're going to start grooming and cleaning that sugar water and consuming that sugar water off of one another. I'm also going to spray some of the sugar water down inside the box here and spray it on these frames, spray it on the plasticell. I want that sugar water not to soak the entire inside of this box, but I want the presence of that sugar water, and they're pretty heavy, so those bees stop what they're doing once I get them in there, and they start consuming and working with that sugar water. Now, to open up one of these, they have staples in the top, all over on here, and it also has a tag hanging out here. So I'm going to remove these first two big staples. Try not to shake up and disturb this package too much. Okay, the staples are off. Then I'm going to also start removing the smaller staples that are on here and just lift them up and out. Once the staples are loosened up, you can start prying this wood up. I'm going to use my hive tool - paint scraper to keep lifting this off. And I have that released. And now the very top of this opening is the can of sugar water. So the trick is I've got to get this can of sugar water to either drop or to come out of there and get the queen out at the same time. The queen is attached to this strip. Once you get that can up high enough that you can grab it, go ahead and grip it and just give it a little twist as you slowly pull it up and out. And this is where, and you want to be prepared, because as you get that can to the very top, you are completely exposing and opening the entrance to this. So I like to tilt it and use this lid and slide the lid right back on, just temporarily. So here's your can of sugar water. I'm going to actually set that inside the hive on some frames. Going to slowly peel that piece of wood off, and there's going to be bees on here. I'm just going to actually lay that inside the hive too. I don't want to lose those bees. Then I'm going to very slowly try to pull this box up with this strip here. The queen is attached to this. So inside this box that's covered with bees is a queen bee. I'm going to give it a little shake and try to get all the bees off of here. And I'm going to rip this off. Sometimes you might have to actually peel up the staple if it's stapled. This is a queen cage. And you can see there's a queen inside there. The queen should always be packaged with a couple honeybees because they are going to feed her. The worker bees on the outside will actually pass food through to her and to those worker bees, and those worker bees will make sure she gets fed. On the end here is a little piece of cork. Usually they're packaged with some candy, and the bees will slowly eat that candy to expose the queen and release the queen on their own terms. This one actually happens to have a piece of cork in it. And you can see bees there on the package are slowly starting to come out the top. So I'm gonna actually take my screwdriver, since it has a little tip, and I'm gonna try to loosen this cork out of here some. Okay, so the cork is ready to come out. I don't want it completely out yet. I'm gonna actually take this and I'm gonna set this right down inside here for now. So there's my queen cage with my queen in it. I'm gonna take this board out, give it a little shake, knock the bees down in there. And I'm just going to take this package that's full of bees, and I'm going to tip it upside down, and I'm going to set it right inside this hive. And that is how easy an install of a package can be. I'm going to leave it, and those bees are going to work their way down inside those frames. That cork that was inside that queen cage is just barely hanging in there. It will be no work at all for those bees to release that queen here soon. And I'm going to put on my inner cover. And I'm going to put on my outer cover. And I'm going to leave that package upside down in there. And I'm going to leave that queen in that queen cage. And I'm going to keep those bees completely sealed up in there for at least overnight. It's going on probably 6:30, 7 o'clock right now. I'm going to keep those bees in there all night long like that. And the reason is, there's nothing stopping that queen from getting released and saying, I don't like this hive location, I don't like this spot, let's fly somewhere else and find a new home. There's no brood to keep those bees in there, and there's no pre-drawn comb, there's no honey stores, there's nothing inside that hive that's going to want to keep those bees in there unless I keep them locked in there at least overnight And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to come out, I'm going to keep that entrance reducer in there, but I'm going to turn it so the hive entrance is mostly reduced. And by that time tomorrow, that queen should be out. They should be established that this is our home, and they'll have already started consuming that sugar water that's in that hive entrance feeder and starting to draw comb a little bit. As soon as that comb gets drawn, that queen's going to be eager to lay, because they cannot build up their hive or populations until she has drawn comb in there. So there's going to be a huge rush to draw out that honeycomb. At that point tomorrow, I'll remove that top box, I'll take the package out of there, and I'll put the hive back together, and we will have 2 hives side by side. Both of them are going to be Langstroth deep 10 frame hive bodies. The one on the left has the nuke installed, and the one on the right has the package installed, and both are overwintered Michigan mutts. So we're going to track this and see how these bees do through the course of the summer, and see which install takes off and does better through the season.